Beautiful. All right. Well, hello, and welcome to the Rock and Roll Podcast. I'm your host, John Harris. Today on the Rock and Roll Podcast, we have A Broken Silence, who has a new album called Soul, which is available right now. Right now, I'm being joined by Torcha. So, Torcha, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having us on, John.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
You're wonderful.
Yeah. Now, let's chat about this first track, Soul. And one of the marks that I have on it, and I hope you take it as a compliment, is I get a really Linkin Park vibe from the track. And I think it's because a lot of the, what I would call skillful rapping that seems to go on in the track.
Yep, cool. Yeah, I think we got, like, obviously we've got a rock sound, and we've got rap and vocals in the mix, so we definitely always get that said Linkin Park. Yeah, I never even heard Linkin Park. Like when I was young, I pretty much listened to either metal or just hip hop, and I never really caught them till till everyone started telling me, "Oh, you guys sound like Linkin Park," and I'm like, okay, we've got to check them out, because obviously there's not a huge amount of rock rap that's hugely popular. You hear Rage, you hear Linkin Park, but yeah, look, that's a compliment anyway. So it's yeah. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Now I'm curious, is it you who's doing the rapping?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, yep. I do most of the rap vocals, and we've got Daniel who does the majority of the music, and also does some vocals as well in some of the hooks.
Wow. Now I'm curious, I guess, when it comes to the track Soul, what are you rapping about?
Okay, so that song is basically just asking a lot of like life questions of where we're from, why are we here, and it's one of those things, when you start thinking in your mind, we're all made up of atoms, and you just start thinking where, the existence of the universe, how far it is and infinite, and all these questions. It's basically just a song that sort of tries to wrap my head around that, while vocally we try to approach the idea that it's all of this stuff it's incomprehensible, like what we're existing in at the moment, and a lot of people try and put together and string a lot of different pathways to what they believe things are, and yeah, I'm still in that stage of learning and thinking every day, finding out ideas of where we could be from, and just trying to advance, like listening to science and listening to religion and all these things. So that's what that song is in a nutshell. It's just it's a massive explosion of my brain and Daniel's brain, obviously. Thought.
Now, when you mentioned it's a massive explosion, is that what led you to take it as a rap more so than, say, maybe a usual metal vocal?
You mean why did we do the rap in there, or?
The song opens up with a rap, and it comes out as an explosion, and I was just wondering if that was the intention or if that just kind of happened that way.
I think it just kind of happened, yeah. So obviously, like I said, Daniel brings he does nearly all the music he lays down before we even get in the studio to record all the parts. So he brings that to me, and I'm pretty sure he had a hook on this one already, which was that part in the hook, we're just a grain of sand. We're just basically what he's repeating in there. And then, obviously it wasn't hard to string together the lyrics, considering that's the topic there that we're talking about, because we're literally just, with all our big, massive problems that we carry around, we're just these tiny little specks of sand in the midst of things, so.
Cool. Now, if you dug the track Soul, you want to check out the music video, which explains what appeared to be atoms and I think some bacteria and some... Was that even a coronavirus that flew across the screen in the music video?
There could be. I hate to say it could. Some kind of, well, possibly we made that before it happened. So it's kind of weird, a weird premonition, you could say.
Yeah. You can go to today's show notes at www.therockandrollpodcast.ca. You can go and check it out. But I'm curious, maybe take us a little bit more, Torcha, through the music video. What went into crafting it?
Okay, well, there's another thing. Daniel, that does all the music in the band, basically. He also does our video clips now as well. So he should be the one speaking about it, because he actually designed whatever was in that clip, or organised the room and all of that business to get filmed, and then he went and processed and put the video together. So I think the video is sort of, in a sense, like it's just depicting the vibe, around what the song's about. So it's that's all I can really say about it. He would probably have a much more graphic explanation and more elaborate way to explain it. But yeah, I can just say that's the vibe of the song. And when he did it and he showed us, it was like, wow, that's perfect. So
beautiful. Okay. Now, I'm curious, is this concept of soul, these questions, these life questions, is that something that transmits throughout the entire album, given that it's the title track of the album?
Look, through the whole outlook, through all of our music is really a lot to do with answering questions, because, like, look, Daniel will give you different answers. Me personally, I'm not really a left or right person. I find things in both. You know what I mean? I'm not sitting there saying I'm going to just go with this narrative. And like all of our songs, like they're always sort of more on the bridge of asking a question. Daniel's definitely way more right and I'm definitely way more left, but we sort of meet in the middle and make songs that sort of ask questions more than actually tell you this is what it is, because, we're evolving, I think, as humans as we go. So it's, I feel the music, sometimes it's telling stories, but yeah, the album Soul, yeah, that song there deals specifically with what that is, and every song sort of has its own vibe that you could sort of catch. You know what I mean? That's they're sort of not self-explanatory, but that's probably the most abstract song that we've got on there would be Soul.
Wow. Now, speaking of which, at the end of the day, which is the other track that we're going to be chatting about today, my note on this one is just a bubbling and simmering anxiety that just seems to permeate through the track, and one of the lyric lines that it seems to be expressed quite a lot that I know hit me pretty hard is, all I ever wanted was to build up a legacy.
Yep.
And
that song, that's, in my mind, and also for Daniel, that's a lot of people that we've grown up with. We've seen people go into bad things happen to them, whether going to jail, whether dying, whether things like, as we get older, you notice and you see people that haven't been living their best life, and obviously spending time with our kids. Now we've got families, so we've got 6 kids amongst both of us, 3 each, and we don't, in the modern life, we don't get a lot of time, probably like what we used to spend with the family and such, and I can just see a real disintegration in society from all of that, and I can see it going in the wrong way if we don't address that. And for me, at the end of the day, is basically just looking. I actually don't live like that. I live as much for my family as I can. So, but that song is just addressing all the people that we've seen suffer because they didn't address it.
Yeah, no, that makes a very valid point. That something that's come up quite a bit on the show is whether this pandemic is going to help families come together or whether it's actually just going to destroy families.
Well, you could see with a lot of people that might, because after the first few months, it'll be very, very strange for people that have not really spent that kind of time together. But I think for a lot of people, they might get that realization that, wow, wait a minute, what was I doing? I've got people that I work with, and they're pulling their kids out of all these different sports and running around and doing all this stuff that, everyone's just flat out living a city life in Sydney. It's just real busy, you know what I mean? And everyone after this is sort of saying similar things like, well, I'm probably not going to do that anymore. I'm probably going to slow down a little bit. So I think it's there's definitely some positives that have come out of it in that sense.
Cool. Now, if you dug the track at the end of the day, you want to check out the music video, you can do so by going to today's show notes at www.therockandrollpodcast.ca. And then similarly as well, with everybody, huddled with umbrellas, unfortunately, the only thing I can see right now is people protecting themselves from police. And I know that's not what's going on in the music video, but take us through what's with the umbrellas and the rain. What's going on?
Oh, look, that's just a dark video. Like, it's a dark symbolism there with the funerals and that's basically, like, these are stories of people that have not, lived their best life, and they're going to look back with regret. It's just sort of like it's a check, like you can look at it and say, well, am I living my best life? Am I doing the best with my family? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, what is the most important thing? You know what I mean? To me, at the end of the day, it's not going to be whatever you got, your house, your car, your clothes, your friends, even it's going to be your money. It's going to be your family, right? And and how you've treated them and how you've treated the people around you. So it's in that kind of vein that video was crafted.
Yeah, and I'm curious, was it something that you just wanted to express? Was it something you were hoping would kind of hit some people and maybe make them change some of the things that they're doing, like a call to action?
Yeah, look, if our music resonates, we hope it does. Like, to be honest, that's one thing we do with our music. We usually write within our comfort zone. We don't really go out and try and explore too many other people's world. This is what's in our world and what we see and what's coming out. But like, if it resonates with people, yeah, hopefully it does.
Yeah, very cool. Now, if you like the track Soul, and at the end of the day, then you'll be super excited to know that there is a full album called Soul, which is available. And if I remember correctly, it features an astronaut sitting on a park bench.
Ask Daniel again. Sorry, he's not here with us. He actually designs the covers, does the videos. So, yeah, it was an awesome cover. I think he did 3 or 4 different covers, and he showed me that one, and I'm like, man, that's the one. It's so he's got the red balloon, so my kids think it looks like it, you know.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious, with regard to the album, I mean, these 2 tracks we chatted about today, Soul, which is obviously the title track, and At the End of the Day, is this what we should expect from the album? And it could just be, you know, like from a lyrical question or from a topic question or even a musical production question. Or I guess better yet, when you guys put together Soul, what was the intention?
Yeah, okay. So the intention was to, look, we make music, I'd like to call it positive. I like to call it not something that's something that really means something to us. Like all of these songs, they mean something. Every single song that we make, you know, we make them because they're important. You know, we don't really make music that's your average pop chart music. It's every song sort of has something in it, and that's how we like to do music. And Soul is just another. Say, I think it's album number 4. It's just another package of what we do. So if you go back to our old catalog, you'll see that you know, we work in a similar fashion in every album, and hopefully we just get better with the music.
Groovy. All right. Is there anything else that you wanted to throw out there? I know things are still pretty quiet for a lot of the world for as far as what would usually be going on for bands right now, but is there any other kind of news that you wanted to share? This episode will probably air about a month from now in July.
Okay. Yep. In a month from now, yeah. Look, we're still working on the next album. Obviously, we're not touring anytime soon. I don't think anyone will be. When that happens, it happens. So yeah, we've got some kind of acoustic tracks that we're gonna release over the next few months. So you can look out for them. And yeah, we'll just keep plugging away.
Cool. All right. Well, Torcha, thank you so much for coming on to the Rock Metal Podcast.
Awesome, John. Thanks for having us on, my man. Thank you very much. And yeah, it's been an honor. Thank you.